The Sciforror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to another extra episode of the Sciforror Film Podcast. I'm Andy Walker. I'm joined by my good friend Badger, and today we have with us Aaron Truss, who is the director of a brand new film called Employee of the Dead, which we will get to soon. Hello, Aaron. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Indeed, thank you for joining us. Lovely to see you.
Oh, it's lovely to see you too. I just want to shout out, I am in no way related to Liz Truss. That one comes up a lot. I've lasted longer than a cabbage. Like, nothing to do with me, not my family, not my circus, not my monkey.
Fair enough. Glad we got that point out of the way.
Yeah. Just in case your listeners were like, no, we're not having that.
We don't like them round here.
Exactly. You made me miss.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Aaron, and just sort of like, bit of background about you, and then we'll get on to the film.
Yeah, well, as I said, not related to Liz Truss, so thumbs up.
I'm
an independent filmmaker. Been a filmmaker for about, I don't know if I can actually quantify that, because I feel like I've been a filmmaker ever since I stole my mum's video camera as a kid and filmed like my mates like wearing wigs and costumes and skating in the park and stuff. But film has been in my blood for years now, and it's only in recent years that I've started to do it on a more professional level. I've started to network with people. I've sort of integrated myself with the people of Fright Fest and lots of other filmmakers as well. So I've been very lucky to have lots of support on that front. But I've done a few short films, one of which was Pareidolia, starring Diane Franklin from Amityville 2, The Possession. And I've done a documentary about my close friend Rob Knox for ITV, who was murdered in 2008. We'll circle back to that because it's related to Employee of the Dead. And yeah, now I'm about to embark on my debut feature film, starring CBBC's Tracy Beaker dropping the F-bomb and freaking everyone out on TikTok, which was not expecting that.
No. Pareidolia, was that a film that was on in Romford Film Festival?
It was, yeah.
Spencer's. Yeah, is that the one about the weird faces?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that was mine.
That's one of my favourite horror films that I watched.
No way. Oh, yes. Man. You're invited to my birthday party. Thank you so much for saying that. That's lovely. No.
And the missus still talks about it now. She goes,
"No way!"
That film we saw. Yeah, honestly,
oh, wow.
I want a full-length version of that film. You drove me nuts that you left it.
I'm so sorry. The plan was to do a feature because it was basically a stepping stone short, and my dad wrote it. He actually texted me from the pub earlier today saying, "Oh, I've just found the original short story for it," and he's writing an anthology at the moment. And I said to him, "You need to get the original story out there because it's creepy as hell." Yeah, and the plan was to create a film. So I worked with Misty Moon to develop this idea. Stuart Morris at Misty Moon, he contacted me after he saw another one of my shorts called The Understudy, which was a comedy horror type thing, and. I think we won an award at Misty Moon, and he got in touch saying, "Do you want to do a short film with Diane Franklin?" And I thought, "Oh, amazing, Google. Oh, Amityville, Bill and Ted. Yeah, I'd love to do that." And he came up with a concept about her telling a story in front of a fireplace, and I thought, well, you're flying her over from the States. Let's do something a bit more exciting. Let's do something a bit more creepy, and it just snowballed. I think it took both Stuart and I by surprise when we were working on that, because we had so much coverage press wise, and we had 5 pages in Starburst or something, and
Yeah,
I was, thank you, Martin, wherever you are.
yeah. Because it
And
has, I noticed like it has quite a lot of the old British stars in it as well, like people from the Bill and stuff.
yeah, I mean, the Misty Moon do a lot of bill events and things like that, but I knew Graham Cole from, again, the Rob Knox Foundation because he was a patron, and he used to turn up at the Rob Knox Film Festival in the early days. And we had this role of a priest, Father Kavanagh, in Paradolia that my father had written. And I said to Stuart, it'd be great if we got Graham Cole for this because he's got that deep voice. He's quite tall, and as a director, it's such a privilege and an honor to cast someone against type because Tony Stamp from The Bill is very different to Father Kavanagh,
Yeah.
and I'm always doing that. Same with Danny Harmer in Employ of the Dead. I'm taking a CBBC beloved British icon and giving her the cleaver from Doghouse and getting her to smash up some zombies. And I thought, there's got to be some interest there. There's got to be some kids who want to see this. So I love doing that. And the idea was we would create a short film that felt like you were flicking through the channels and you arrive late and you leave early, making people want more. The trouble was,
please make more. Please make it a longer film.
It's on the list. It's on the shopping list. The thing was, when we did Paradolia, Stuart and I went our separate ways. Stuart went on to do his projects that he really wanted to do with Tony Marden and Jason and things like that. And I was recovering from hernia surgery, so that took me out the game for ages. I made this film. I turned up at Romford for the screening of Paradolia. Literally the week after surgery. So I'm walking around holding my belly like an old man.
Yeah.
And, Stuart's whizzing past here and there, and I'm like a snail. We decided to go our own ways because we both wanted to do our own thing and, one and done kind of thing. We're the George Lazenby of the Misty Moon films. But the idea was that, we did want to develop it, and I started writing notes for a feature film when I know exactly where it's going. But I don't want to say anything because it is on the shelf, but it is something that I would like to revisit with my father, 100%. But because the reason why there isn't a Paradolia is because a feature film is because you've got to blame Jake West, which I blame him for most things. But Jake came over to my place at Christmas one time, I think it was like 2 years ago, and I showed him the original Employ of the Dead short film. We were showing each other some deep cuts. We'd had a few drinks, and I was really embarrassed. And I thought, okay, I'll show you some of our early stuff. And he was really he loved it. He thought it was funny. He couldn't get his head around the fact that we snuck into a supermarket because I worked there on the night shift, shot a short zombie movie till about 9 a.m. or 7:30 before the store had opened, and then we legged it. And he loved the concept, and he said that should be your feature film.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't want to do a feature of Employee of the Dead because it's just a generic zombie movie. I mean, we've got plenty of those to go around. And he went, no, the making of it, dude, the filmmaker's tale, the first time filmmaker's story. And I was like, oh shit, he's got a point. That's a really good idea. That's really, and the wheels started turning. And the next thing I know, I'm calling everyone up who worked on the original. We're trying to get this story script together, and Jake pretty much nursed us through the first year and a bit developing this script, and that's why there's no Paradolia, because we jumped from that to Employee.
Okay, well, I'll tell the missus that hopefully one day it will happen.
One day it is on the cards, because I have said to Jake, I want to do one comedy and then I want to do a full-on horror, because that's in my blood, and I want to have either or, and then I'll see which I'm better at, basically.
Yeah, I do myself. I create either comedy or comedy horror, badly on purpose.
Oh wow, I have to see some of that.
Oh yeah. Andy will send you some links. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay.
So anyway, Employee of the Dead, you have co-written that with Joe Akers?
Yeah, Joe Akers. Joe is one of my, if not my oldest best friend from from school. I've seen him through many haircuts, many girlfriends who we won't mention, and he's in a band as well called Taxi Joe. And we've always supported each other creatively, but we're a pair of twats when we're together. And we've always wanted to do. We did stand-up comedy together for years. We both did bands. We've jack of all trades kind of thing. And I firmly cemented myself into filmmaking, and the bugger got me doing his music videos. So of course I was going to expand on that. And he stayed with the music, but he also kept in touch with his acting roots. So every time I do a film, I mean, he's the mortician in Paradolia. Like, Stuart wanted to get someone else in for it, and I was like, no, we're going to have someone under the age of 60 in this film. I'm determined, and it's going to be Joe Akers. So, I definitely wanted Joe for that, and he's a very close friend, and we lived it. That's and he was the star in the original with Rob and Todd and James, and there was no way I was going to develop this film without him, and there was no way I was going to do it unless he was the lead, because it's about time he had a fair crack at the whip as a lead actor.
Right. So, I mean, you were saying, I mean, Joe's obviously in it, and you were saying Danny Harmer's in it. Sean Cronin, who I know, but I don't know where I know Sean Cronin from. I think he's one of these people that has just been in a lot of things, and you kind of go, I know that guy.
Yeah, Sean Cronin. Well, he's right behind you. That's how intimidating he is. Just when you think Sean's not there, he is.
Is Sean the guy who did? No, I think I've been in one of his films.
You might well have been, yeah.
Yeah. What was the vampire one?
Yes, Boogieville.
No, the one after that.
Oh, I don't know which one was after that. I know Boogieville did really, really well at Fright Fest, but I don't know which. I'd have to look it up. But it was.
Oh no, it's called Drained.
Drained, yes, of course, yeah.
Me and my mate Nick, who sort of helps me and Andy out from time to time, and is one of the stars in some of my films. We were in the background in the club.
Oh no way! That's amazing. Yeah, so you're in a vampire film.
When you watch Drained, look out for me and.
I will now. I'll be waiting for the club scene. If I don't see you, have you got the beards in the club
credits
scene?
Of the film, believe it or not.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's all worth it just to see your name in the credits. I'm over it now because I'm normally the bugger who makes the credits. So I'm like, well, yeah, there's my name, I suppose. And my mum's like, oh, look, there's your name. I was like, I know, I put it there. It's scrolling. I know.
No, Sean Cronin's a lovely bloke. He's really good to work with as well.
He scares the hell out of me.
But that's why I like it.
Oh yeah, me too. Sean Cronin plays a character in Employ of the Dead who's incredibly intimidating. But again, this goes back to me liking to cast against type, and I know Sean Cronin's a massive teddy bear. Mm-hmm. So the role that people will see him in Employ of the Dead, once we get the funding and we're all up and running, is going to be something that people aren't very used to seeing with him. And he's very happy about that. Spoiler, he doesn't die in the film. I think he's very happy. He's very happy he doesn't die in the film. Then. He makes it to the end credits where my name is and my mum's going, oh, look. No.
So he doesn't do a Sean Bean then?
Doesn't do a Sean Bean, no. Unfortunately not, no. Apparently he's died in 96% of his own movies, so according to him, yeah.
I know you also another name I saw down is Nicholas Vince, who I have met a couple of times myself, and I've got some books written by him that he signed for me and things. He's a lovely bloke and a really good actor. Everyone will of course know him as one of the original Cenobites from the Hellraiser films. But he has done a lot of other stuff, and he's worked a lot more in independent films over the last sort of 5 or 6 years, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of become, if we make an independent film and Nicholas Vince is in it, are we really a film? It kind of feels like it's not it's not one of those things that we have to check it off the list with Nicholas Vince. Nicholas Vince, as you say, is just the nicest guy in the world. And I've had the pleasure of meeting him over the years at festivals and Fright Fest, and he was a big supporter of the Rob Knox Foundation and our film festival. It won, I think it was the final year we ran the festival. He presented an award, and it was such an honor just to have him there. Considering he scared the shit out of me as a kid with Hellraiser. So it's nice to know that under these prosthetics there are lovely people waiting to give you a hug and tell you how well you're doing.
Yes, absolutely. And I saw at the weekend, I just happened to be, I was having breakfast and not really paying much attention to the television. And
Were you
then
having
I saw,
brunch by chance?
yes, a Sunday brunch. And I then saw that Nick Helm, comedian, musician, actor, and all that sort of thing was on there talking about Employee of the Dead.
How mental is that? That was the thing about our crowdfund, is that we were meant to launch a month ago, and something went wrong with the Indiegogo. We were running around like headless chickens trying to sort it out. Myself, Ellie Ray Winstone, and our producer Adam Brown, and we had to reschedule, and it killed us because we built up so much momentum. People were following us on socials, and the thing about crowdfunding is that you're kind of naked to the public and to people on Facebook, TikTok, and whatnot. And if anything goes wrong, they see it. If you're not making as much money on the crowdfund, they'll see it. So it's very daunting having to do all this. But we stalled twice, and on the second time we stalled, I was ready to just kick a cat, which I would never do because I love cats. But that particular day that it went wrong, I decided after work, because I'm an editor in London during the day, and I decided I'm going to go to the pub. It was someone's leaving drinks. I wasn't really meant to go there because I wasn't feeling great, and I bumped into Nick Helm at the pub, and I thought, I haven't seen this man in about 15 years, when I opened for him doing stand-up as a teenager. And this was around about the time that Nick Helm was just taking off with his comedy career, because he was on Russell Howard's show on BBC Three. And he had this song which slayed me, I Can Make You Look Fit. And I remember thinking, this guy, compared to most comics at the time, and probably even now, is just a legend. He reminds me a little bit of Andy Kaufman, just angrier. And he's not your conventional kind of comedian as well. And when I spoke to him about the idea, I said, look, I actually wrote this part with you in mind, but we weren't going to approach you until we had funding. But you're here, so let's have a chat. And we did. Next thing I know, I'm speaking to his agent. And then after that, I'm speaking to him about, audition tapes. And he did me an audition tape in like less than 24 hours. And I think I got it around about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was in bed trying not to wake my girlfriend. And I had to contain my laughter, and I'm just like shaking on the bed, like laughing my head off, going, it's a no-brainer. It's Nick Helm. Nick Helm has to be in this film. I also think it legitimizes us as a comedy if Nick Helm's in it as well. And it makes it less confusing for people when you say, oh, we're doing a horror comedy with Danny Harmer. What, from Tracy Beaker? No, we're doing a horror comedy with Danny Harmer and Nick Helm. And people are like, oh, okay, I'm listening now. And they're a great combo. They've not met each other yet, but they will. They've said very nice things about each other, but we'll see what happens when they butt heads on set, because the characters they play do not like each other. And I love conflict. I love conflict in scripts, because that's where most of the drama comes. And with great drama comes great comedy and great horror. So, yeah, Nick Helm, we've been going back and forth about the script, the ideas. One of the things he said to me was, I'm going to lose weight for this. And I'm like, oh, bless you, because the role that he's going to be playing is the lead actor in the film within the film for Employee of the Dead. So when we see the filmmakers making their film, the letterboxing comes in, and we basically get a completely different film. So and also Jake West is directing the film within the film, because I wanted a different tone, I wanted a different style. And I said to him, can you bring back some of that razor blade smile, evil aliens kind of feel? Can I get that sort of like old Jake West, or young Jake West, as it were? And he absolutely loves it. He can't wait to get back into zombies, because it's been a while since Doghouse. And Nick's character is basically the Bruce Campbell of the film. And he will be playing a character called Rick Venger. which is just the coolest name in the world. And it is my ode to Bruce Campbell and loving nod to Reggie Bannister as well. I found out this morning, which was quite shocking, but not shocking, but sad really, because I love Phantasm. But yeah, when I told him it was a Bruce Campbell type role, but it's played by a guy who has never acted in his life, he was absolutely on board with it. And one of his favorite films of all time is Army of Darkness. So, and he's a huge horror fan as well. He loves horror films. So me and him will be up until the late hours discussing Universal monsters. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I mean, the last thing before Sunday, the last thing I saw him on before that was when he was on the Celebrity Mastermind and he was answering questions about Alice Cooper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's a massive Alice Cooper fan.
Quite cool. But I mean, as you say, you've got him in it, which gives you kind of the comedy credentials. You've got Nicholas Vince in it, which gives you the kind of the horror credentials, because you've got, both of them from either side of the same sort of like line, if you like. But how did you get these people involved? I mean, you're saying about just meeting Nick in a bar, but I mean, the others, was it easy to get them interested and involved in the film?
Um, well, the truth is, I'm really good at foot massages. No, that's not the truth. No. The truth of the matter is, this film is a combination of all the people I love in my life who are in the film industry, as well as outside of the film industry. There's a lot of it's biographical to a certain extent, and what's really appealing for me as the guy who gets to direct it, is that it's a love letter to everyone who's ever helped me, anyone who's ever been on the indie film journey. And with Nicholas Vince, Sean Cronin, Jake West, Danny Harmer, Nick Helm, these are people who have genuinely that I've been friends with for years, and just always we've always been in the same sort of circles. And when it came to Employ of the Dead, I just thought, well, some people when they go to make their first film, they'll do a very simple, low budget, one location film, like Will Hygo's The Group or something like that, and that's great. That works. Do the Reservoir Dogs thing. I just thought, fuck it. Sorry, can I swear?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. I just thought, I'm almost 40 and I want to make the film that I want to make. I don't want to play it safe. There is a huge sort of risk in doing this crowdfund because we might not make the money. I'm hoping we do. I'm hoping that we make, our target of 50K at least, and we manage to get some investors on board. But we're honest filmmakers, and I think the reason why Sean Cronin, Nicholas Vince, Nick Helm, Danny Harmer, Ellie Ray Winstone, Paul Cassar, I think the reason why they've come on board is because they're fond of me, which I hope is the case because I'm fond of them. But they love the script, they love the story, and the story is key. Whenever someone reads the script, I always get a lovely buzz from it because it's not what they expect. And there's a lot of loving nods to horror films that I've grown up with. There's a huge nod to Romero and people like that. And if you're a true horror fan, I think you'll really appreciate it because it's not written by someone who thinks they know horror. This is coming from a place where it's a deep love for it, but the comedy of it comes from the heart. And watching first-time filmmakers fall into the pitfalls of doing everything wrong, from stunts to casting, miscasting almost. And these kind of films like Ed Wood, The Disaster Artist, Living in Oblivion, these type of movies, I love these movies. And I want to do something like that with horror. And because we lived it, I think that's what people are drawn to. They're drawn to the characters because they're so different from each other.
Yeah.
And there is a laugh a minute with this script. It really is.
Okay. So, I mean, you said that it's come from the idea of the filmmaker's story of making the zombie movie in supermarket. What more can you tell us about the story itself? I mean, without obviously giving away too much, because you don't want, you want people to watch the film.
Yeah, no, of course. I don't mind spoiling stuff because we've still got a whole year before this is even out, and people will forget. And it's basically about a guy called Hooben, and Hooben is in a supermarket. He's been there since university. He hasn't left. He hasn't done anything with his life. He's kind of played it safe, living from paycheck to paycheck and spending it all on horror movie stuff, Blu-rays, and going to festivals. And he's kind of edged away from what he was truly setting out to be in life, which is a filmmaker. And his girlfriend leaves him. His sister, who's an actress played by Danny Harmer, Lexi, she's doing way better than him. She's appearing in soaps. She's appearing on stage. And one day, Hooben is visited in a dream by the amazing Kevin Martin from the Last Video Store. And Kevin basically invites him into his video store in his head and tells him to go out there and build his arc, make his movie. And, what are you waiting for? And it just so happens that the supermarket he works in, the Swedish executives from head office have come in and told them how crap they're being at the store and that they need to come up with some new ideas. So here's a bunch of film equipment, here's some lights, here's some sound equipment. We want you to go and film some TikToks. And Hooben's like, it's a bit overkill for TikToks, okay? But so he thinks rather than shooting these TikToks for the supermarket, he's going to wait until the night shift and he's going to start making his own feature film and he's going to try and get it into Fright Fest.
Nice.
That's essentially the story. He ropes in all of his colleagues, his friends, his university friends, his sister, who's an actress. They hold auditions, and they basically try to piece together this horror, apocalyptic horror story, which is also called Employer of the Dead, just to make it more confusing. And it's all about them trying to make this film before the clock runs out and before the boss gets back from the head office in Sweden from training. And that's their adventure. They all pull together to make this movie and pull off the impossible.
I really love it. It sounds like it's going to be a great idea. Was you inspired by Shaun of the Dead? Because the parallels are definitely there, aren't they?
So I'll tell you what, the original short film was definitely inspired by Shaun of the Dead. The original 2008 film, it came out at a time when zombie films were quite prevalent when I was a teenager. So you had Cockneys versus Zombies, you had Dead Set on Channel 4, and Shaun of the Dead, which came out a few years before. And oddly enough, I remember watching Shaun of the Dead with Rob Knox. Oh God, I just remembered something else. We didn't have anything for lunch. I think we had a couple of crusty rolls and some cheese. And he put tomato puree in mine, and I'm thinking, why have you done that? And every time I think of Shaun of the Dead, I think of tomato puree sandwiches, and it didn't work. Whatever he was trying, it just did not work, and I think I had the shits afterwards. But anyway, the original, exactly. But the original film was inspired by Shaun of the Dead, and Shaun of the Dead is, in my opinion, it's kind of like a nexus point in British zombie comedies. That if you try to do a zombie comedy and you're British, people will say to you, "Oh, like Shaun of the Dead," and you're like, "Yeah, I suppose that benchmark was 20 years ago, and no one's topped it yet."
Simon Pegg has literally said, "We don't need a sequel. You don't need a sequel."
I agree.
So I just think that in a way is, if anything, it's like, here's the sort of the magnum opus. Do with it what you will.
No, we don't want that baton. No, that's too much pressure.
But but you know what I mean. To any filmmaker, it's almost like here's the gold chest. Now it's time for everyone else to have a go and do better.
As long as you, obviously, we get zombie films all the time. There's a resurgence every once in a while. At the moment, we're going for a bit of a horror renaissance, like with Obsession and Backrooms and stuff.
That's right. And quote me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure that George Romero's last film is going to be created, right?
Well, you got me there. If that's,
because I know
Brown Bread
passed on, but the script was made.
Yes, I do know about this. I do know about this. I know his daughter did one about drag queen zombies as well, which I need to check out.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
But just going back to your point on, and there is a loving nod to George A. Romero in this film, which I don't want to spoil. Wow. But we do pay proper tribute to the Godfather of Zombies. That was important. But the Shaun of the Dead thing, like you could say Doghouse as well. Like, Jake got it when he did Doghouse. It's like, and I think he had the same thing with Evil Aliens, where what someone has a cricket bat, and they say to him, "Well, you're just ripping off Shaun of the Dead," and he's like, "No, we did it before Shaun of the Dead, but people will think of Shaun of the Dead because it's such a big movie, and it is a great film. It's narratively." For me, it's up there with Back to the Future, Jaws. Like on paper, it's perfect, and the combination of Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg is just genius. And but for us, we address it in the film actually. Like someone actually says to them, "Oh, you're just doing Shaun of the Dead," and one of the characters goes, "No, ours is set in a supermarket." And then that's as much as we acknowledge it. Like, I spoke to Nick Helm about this, and I said, "Oh, people will say, we're doing a Shaun of the Dead," and his response was, "Fuck him." And that's all he said. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Shaun of the Dead was over 20 years ago, and we love that film, but we want to do something different, something more personal. I think like Shaun of the Dead does have those tones of doing something with your life, but growing into your potential. Whereas ours, we've tried to make it more personal from a standpoint that the zombies in our film aren't real zombies. Our point is we're taking that Romero message a little bit forward with the fact that if you don't do anything with your life, if you don't live up to your potential and just go from desk to desk to coffin, are you a zombie anyway? I mean, are you actually alive, or are you just the undead waiting to be dead? And that is basically the midlife crisis, which is what we explore in the film. And rather than getting a motorcycle and leather jacket like Mark Fowler, he decides he wants to make his film. And I think that's what separates us from Shaun of the Dead, as well as the sort of living in oblivion elements, where we get to basically have two films in one. We get to see the characters in real life trying to make their film and making all these mistakes and trying to learn from it with comedic consequences. And then on the other side, you actually have the horror film in there, which will look amazing and sound amazing. But you get two for the price of one with this one, because when you see the characters in the horror film, you know that they're already actors and they're trying to act and they're trying to pull it off convincingly. And they get better over time, and the horror film gets better over time as well.
That's a really good spin on an idea. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah. So no, it's not like Shaun of the
It does sound incredibly interesting. And I mean, right from the outset, as soon as I saw the first thing about this online, I thought to myself, I've got to know more about this film. I really have.
Thank you.
So what sort of things, if people come onto I mean, I will be posting when I put this up on YouTube, I will put a link to the crowdfunding page.
Thank you.
So what sort of thing can people get if they come on there and put money into it?
Well, we wanted to have different tiers in terms of prices, in terms of what you can get. Obviously, we know that times are hard, and this couldn't have come at a worse time, to want to make a film and have it crowdfunded. So, you can donate a tenner if you just want to help us out, which, every little helps, to quote a supermarket. But you can also get Blu-rays. You can get a signed copy of the script. You can get a signed copy of the poster, which I have behind me up there, which we had to update with Nick Helm's name. So that one's out of date now. You can also get the costumes from the film as well. So you can actually get Danny Harmer's costume, Nick Helm's costume, Ellie Ray Winstone's costume. Like we wanted to make sure that when people pledge for the perks and the rewards, we didn't want to just say, okay, thanks for your money, bye, see you in 5 years. We wanted to make sure that no matter what people bought to support the film, we're making this film with them. You're part of the journey. You're part of the team now, because this started with 5 guys in a supermarket, up to no good. Now we want to open that up, and we want to expand it. And you never know with these things, because I feel like when I want to go for a crowdfund pledge, that I'm part of it, that I can sit down in a cinema or whatever the product is. I helped make that. Without my contribution, this film would not be here. And I think it's a great feeling. I mean, like Badger, you were just saying a second ago about credits. I mean, to me, that's nothing. I can do that on Premiere right now. And hey, but when you're in a cinema, when you're at Romford, when you're at Fright Fest, and your name comes up on the scroll, that's a great feeling. I had the same feeling when Nick Helm went on Sunday Brunch, And one of the guys said, "So tell me about Employee of the Dead." And I was like, "That's my film. That man said, the TV man said my film." Like that felt great. And I want people to feel that. I want them to feel ecstatic that, you know, you're not just giving us your money because we're too lazy to get finances ourselves. It's the indie filmmaking world is so hard. I mean, you know, look at all the names we have attached, you know, yet it's still hard to get money to make a film. So the crowdfunding decision was very much, okay, if we're going to do this, we have to make sure that our perks on the Indiegogo are something that people will want to have. I mean, like one of the ones that I love, it's my favorite, is for £80, you can have a personal video from the cast on set while we're filming, so that, you know, they'll say, "Hi, blah blah, hope you're doing well, we're just shooting this, as you can see here, it's all mayhem and whatever and blood and whatever." And then when the person who got that goes to watch the film and they see the same location and the scene, they'll go, "Oh, this is where they must have stopped in between to do my video." And I thought, that's a great idea. You'll always remember that. So we wanted to create perks that people could walk away with feeling like they are definitely part of something bigger than themselves and us as well, because this film is bigger than us.
Yeah, no, that sounds really cool. Yeah. So, okay. As I said to you before, this is basically, you know, apart from us finding out more about the film and letting people know more about the film, it's a kind of like a sales window for you to people and that sort of thing. So, what would you like to say about the film to people about, you know, getting involved?
Well, I'm not going to do a Bob Geldof because that won't go down well. No, this film is extremely personal to me, and I know that doesn't really mean a lot to anyone else, but I truly believe Employee of the Dead and its kind of 20-year history since we shot the original. I still can't believe we shot the original. I'm really humbled when people talk about the original, but this film is going to be the original times a million. Like the script and the story are so tight. Like we've, you know, I know this is not me knocking other films. This is not me knocking other indie filmmakers, because there are some great indies out there right now that are doing extremely well. But for Employee of the Dead, for me, that script is so tight. Like for me, it's faultless. There isn't a boring bit on the page. Everything leads to somewhere. There's nothing is sacrificed for a joke. If the joke doesn't work, we move on. We you know, it's very much plot driven and character driven. And the fact that, you know, we get to do horror and gore and all these amazing effects that we're going to do, some of which I can't believe we're going to be doing. There is a heart to the story. And I think what makes this film different from other films is that we lead with an emotional core. So if you want to be part of something that could be the next Breakfast Club, or the next Shaun of the Dead, whatever you take away from what we've all been saying, please donate to our crowdfund. Please contribute, because we need help. We're not rich people. Most of us have day jobs. Most of us are actually working the 9 to 5, and we don't earn a lot. And trust me, if we did, we wouldn't be doing a crowdfund. But we really want to make this film with you guys, because why not? It's a horror comedy, and we have Tracy Beaker killing zombies. We have Nick Helm also killing zombies. We have Nicholas Vince sucking people's toes. That's a weird one, but that is true. That took a lot of negotiating, by the way.
Zombie toes?
No, actually, it gets weird. It gets very weird very quickly. Basically, how they make their film, this is not what we're doing, but in the film, they make their money by shaving their legs, petting their toenails, and putting pictures of their feet on OnlyFans, and that's how they raise the money. Spoiler, but yeah, it was a comment that someone made to me during the pandemic, I think it was, like, where people were out of work and it was like, "Oh God, I'm going to sell feet pics." I'm like, why would you even? Oh, hang on a second, and I'm writing at the keys, going, "That's a great joke, I like that," and then I'm going to expand on it, and then
yeah.
But yeah, sorry. Back to my point, guys.
That's all right.
We would love you to be part of this crowdfund. I'm not saying that because I want your money. I do want your money. We want your money, but we want to make this film for you, and we want to make this film for us. And it is going to be the next best thing since a slice of fried gold. So get on board, do whatever you can. If you can't pledge, then just share it on social media. Share it on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, Tumblr, anything. YouTube, YouTube comments help. Like, we can't make this film unless you get involved, and that's what we need.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been great to have you on here. It really has. I mean, it's been a fantastic chat.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been really good chatting, yeah.
As I say, I'll post a link to your Instagram page. I'll also post a link to the crowdfunding page on Indiegogo. And
Thank you.
People can keep an eye on what's going on with it and all that sort of thing. Independent film needs the support of the fans. That's how
100%.
independent film gets made and how it grows.
Yeah, please do keep in touch with me and Andy so we can review it, and all sorts of different things. We'll help promote it if we can. We'll do all of that stuff. So please,
I appreciate that.
In touch, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I will do. Thank you.
So thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Badger. Thank you to everybody out there for watching, listening. As I say, check out the links when I put them up. Check out the Indiegogo page and see what you can give. And I'm sure you will be happy. I honestly can't wait to see the finished film. I think it's going to be fantastic.
I can't wait. We didn't even talk about Simon Boswell, and he's doing the music.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, and we will be back again soon. See you later. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
The Sciforror Film Podcast.